What's up, guys? Welcome to Hollyscoop's Moments of the Week. I'm Madison Hill.
And I am Kourtney Revolution.
Yes, there was a lot of tea that went down this week. Is Demi Lovato canceled after her Finsta was revealed? Scott Disick was spotted leaving Kourtney Kardashian's house after her B-Day. Plus, Payne was giving us all the deets on why Zayn Malik might not be returning for this alleged One Direction reunion. Plus, we also have a few other stories that we didn't have time to get to, so we're going to talk about those as well. But first up, because Kourtney, I feel like we were really passionate about this one, let's talk about Demi Lovato. I think we should.
Great.
You know? Just to kick off the weekend with Demi. So, recently, Demi Lovato's alleged Finsta at Trauma Queen Forever was exposed, and it included several screenshots of posts that were shading Selena Gomez. There was one where she was holding a magazine cover and Selena's face was crossed out. There was also a post where she posted her quote about her and Selena not being friends from her Harper's Bazaar interview and was like, "I tried to be nice." Well, yes, it was Demi's Finsta. I feel like it was more of like a I hate Selena Gomez Instagram account is what it kind of felt like. After the Finsta was exposed, right? Didn't you feel like it was a little too much?
I was not a fan of it, Madison, simply because it sort of peeled the curtain back on who we thought Demi Lovato was versus who she really is, allegedly.
No, and what do you say to people who think it's not actually her account?
There are people out there that go, well, the person that photoshopped these photos together came out and said that they photoshopped it together. However, Madison, when I looked at the account of that person, they had created a Twitter account that day. So I'm not really too sure if I believe that they're photoshopped together. Just my opinion, though. Allegedly.
No.
Everything.
I agree. And I do believe, though, that regardless of that, it was her Finsta. I believe this was Demi Lovato's account.
Her boyfriend was following the account, and so was Sam Smith, and so was Lauren Haregi. Lots of celebrities were following it, so.
So was Nikita Dragon. So was one of the members from Big Time Rush. We found that out this week. There were too many celebs following it and quickly unfollowing it once it got exposed for it to not be real. The hashtag Demi Lovato is over party was trending. I don't think she's necessarily canceled because of this. I think it's another one of those situations that we've talked about where it's it's just something that's always going to be in the back of our mind and we're not going to forget.
Yeah, I mean, Demi Lovato, I feel like is always being canceled. And the reason why is I feel like sometimes Demi Lovato inserts herself in situations that have nothing to do with her. And I feel like there are people and specifically fan bases that just want to be held accountable, or just say sorry, or say, oops, I got caught being shady, or oops, I made a mistake, or oops, I spoke out of turn, my bad. You know what I mean? It's not at least for me, I'm not going to Demi's house with a pitchfork, who cares about Demi Lovato? I just feel like I wish she were more mature, because we have celebrities out there that are mature, whether they like someone or not.
Nope, completely agree. Let's move on and talk about Kourtney and Scott, because this was a little interesting tidbit from this week as well. So, Kourtney Kardashian recently celebrated her 41st birthday, and the Daily Mail reports that after her birthday, Scott Disick was seen leaving her house. Him and Kourtney were seen loading things into a car. There were boxes. There was a appearingly, allegedly, an overnight bag being loaded into the car. It looked really bad, but I feel like you and I definitely took the same stance of it's not what it looks like.
Yeah, I don't think it was what it looked like. I think that because it was Kourtney's birthday, I'm sure she wanted a break from the kids. I do wonder, though, why couldn't Scott pick up the kids and bring the kids back to his and Sofia's house? They rich. I'm sure they got the room master, no?
No, I think that she wanted him there. Because we did hear about how, she was kind of leaving it up to the kids of whether or not Scott and Sofia were going to come. But I did find it interesting that just Scott went. But then later in the week, we did have a report from Hollywood Life that said Sofia had no issues with Scott spending time with Kourtney on her birthday. The source said she, quote, knows they have a lot of history together and appreciates how well they co-parent. She respects the relationship they have. She's secure with her relationship, so she's cool with it, which Scott loves that she's drama-free. But I still agree with you that there's there's just a few things that are a little off, because I feel like no matter how great your co-parenting relationship is, no matter, you know, how many times they can say, oh, we're our own modern family, we all get along, there's no animosity, it's all good, I still do think it is a little interesting that, you know, they opted to just hang out without Sofia.
Yeah, I completely, it sounds a little bit more realistic. As a person that's in a relationship, I can't speak as a parent, but I feel like if I were in a relationship, I would be like, hey, you know, my the quarantine time's been with the kids nonstop. Would you mind if I just go and get them, keep them here just for overnight, barely 13 hours, like real quick, like we'll hang out, we'll watch a movie, like don't even worry about dinner, we'll order in and we'll make it a thing. Like, you get what I'm saying? From the outside looking in, it looks like you went over and you spent the night at your baby mother's house, birthday or not. Why was you doing that for?
Exactly. My point exactly. And I do know that the kids have been spending like 2 days a week there anyway, regardless. So it wouldn't have even had to have been that big of a deal. So you're right. You're right in that question. I completely agree with you. Okay, let's move on and talk about One Direction and the One Direction news we had this week. So Liam Payne did an interview with the Daily Star Online and made some comments about Zayn Malik joining the reunion. He said that it's premature for fans to count him in. He went on to say, quote, some people are made for this thing, but Zayn enjoys the side of music where he just gets to make great music. I don't think he enjoys what comes with it. I think he has to be very careful where he treads. He continued to say that Zayn loves making music and that it's always successful, but that he doesn't love performing it or doing press. Liam shared that during their One Direction days, the guys would see, you know, certain times where Zayn was made for One Direction fame, and then other days where you could tell that he just absolutely hated it. So, truthfully, now that it's kind of, you know, looking back, they can see why he did decide to leave the group ultimately.
Do you, and I don't want to get people's hopes up for this, Madison, so director, I want to go ahead and tell y'all, speculation, not confirmation. Do you think that Liam was chosen as the representative to lead us down this Zayn is not showing up only for a song to come out, and when we listen to it, Zayn has his own part on the bridge, hitting the falsetto, and then we're like, oh, he came! Like, do you think that it's being set up like that for us to be like, oh my God, why wouldn't Zayn just do this? And then in the final hour, here's Zayn, and that's a new story. The song blows up. I'm wondering.
You might be right. The only thing I have to say is I wish they wouldn't have picked Liam.
Yeah, because it's too believable.
I think Liam. Yeah, because Liam, you know, we've talked about this week, how. And when you look, and I don't like to compare the One Direction guys, but when you look at them, Liam has had some of the least amount of solo success compared to like a Harry or Niall. So I just feel like having him do it makes me believe it, because I'm just like, oh, well, he wants to talk about this One Direction thing to drum up hype for his own music. But honestly, that would be the best PR play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like,
he's like, don't throw tomatoes at me. It's fine. They're already mad at my album.
Right.
Like, it's fine.
Now my hopes are officially up. So we know Liam during this interview did say that some things are being pushed back from coronavirus, and that we might have to wait a little bit more. I think he's just getting in trouble for sharing too many details, in my opinion.
Maybe, Madison. I'm ready to find out. I need July to get here tomorrow.
I completely agree. Okay, let's get into those other stories that we didn't have time to talk about. Eminem, love this. He actually donated his mom's spaghetti to a Detroit hospital. So it was the Henry Ford Hospital System. They received this meal from Eminem, and I just love that he's leaning in to his iconic song.
I feel like everybody's seen 8 Mile, or at least knows of it. So like, or at least knows that song or that line from that song. So I mean, I love that. I love that from Eminem.
I completely agree.
I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but hearing that Eminem donated mom's spaghetti sounds more realistic than Eminem donating $300,000. Like, this news sounds more realistic than that, if that makes sense. Love that.
No,
but that's just
it does.
About it.
It does. And then the other thing we want to talk about real quick, so the cast of Friends, Kourtney, I know you don't love Friends, but they are offering those fans who do like it an exciting reunion opportunity. Essentially, they're putting out a contest that fans can get a chance to appear on the reboot. This is a partnership with HBO Max, and they're trying to raise food for Meals on Wheels, all of that good stuff in the midst of it too. So another one of those contests where if you do love Friends, you could appear. You just got to help raise some money.
My best friend loves Friends, so I need to tell him immediately so he can get this walk-on role and live his best life. It's like the one thing that like we don't get along about is because I'm the living single person and he is the Friends girl. And I'm like, it's a stolen concept, right, from Black people.
I was going to say,
like,
you love the original. You love the original. You can't help it. We love an original. We stand the original. But yes, you're going to have to let him know that he can now get his chance to really live his best life. All right, you guys. That is all the time we have. Yes. Now it's time to let us know what you think. What do you think about Demi's alleged Finsta account? What do you think about the whole Kourtney and Scott situation? What do you think about Liam and Zayn and One Direction, as well as the other headlines we discussed? Let it all out down below. Don't forget to tune into the Morning Tea on Monday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. In the meantime, make sure to click that subscribe button and that notification bell, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.